Lesson 116, the quadratic formula, part 1. No, it's ATIA 116. I don't think I said that. The quadratic formula, part 1. So a quadratic is an equation of this form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a does not equal 0. So quadratic is an equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Now a, b, and c are real numbers. Well, we can just say numbers, okay? They're going to be numbers, and a cannot be 0. So here's an example of a quadratic equation. X squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. So when we look at this quadratic, we have a is equal to 1, b equals positive 5, and c equals a negative 3. So we're just looking at the number parts. So the coefficient of x squared is 1, coefficient of x is 5, and the constant is a negative 3. Here's another example. 3x squared minus 27 equals 0. So our a is the coefficient of x squared. Our b is the coefficient of x. There is no x, so b is 0. And c is the constant, which is a negative 27. Now we can find out what x equals, so we can solve for x using the quadratic formula. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So there is a song that goes with this, and I'm going to sing it. It's quite embarrassing. So if you know it, sing it with me. It goes like this. Wait a minute, I spelled this wrong. This is quadratic, not it, quadratic. Okay, so we're going to wipe that out, change this to an A. There we go. So the quadratic formula goes like this. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Try it out with me. Sing with me. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, let's do some examples. Here's an example from the first example. Okay, wait. Let's call this example 1. Oops. And we'll call this one example 2. That way we can solve. So example 1, we have negative b, so b is 5. So we do negative 5 plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So we're going to simplify here. We have negative 5 plus or minus square root of 25 minus a negative 12. And that's the same thing as 25 plus 12. 25 plus 12 is 37 divided by 2. And those are your two solutions. And here you can write it like this. But you need to realize that there's two solutions here. It's negative 5 plus root 37 divided by 2 and negative 5 minus root 37 divided by 2. And that's the solution to the first example. So the solution to the example, put a 1 right there. So example 2, our b was 0, so we do negative 0 plus or minus square root 0 squared minus 4 times, our a was 3, and our c was negative 27. All over 2, and a was 3, 2 times a. So we have the 0, we don't need to write that, so we have plus or minus square root of This is going to be a negative number when we multiply. So we'll have a negative, negative, so it's going to be a positive 324 all over 6. Well, the square root of 324 is 18. So we have plus or minus 18 divided by 6. So there's two solutions. 18 divided by 6 or negative 18 divided by 6. So it can be 3 or negative 3. And that's the end of the lesson.